Hello and welcome to IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live conversation web television. This is one portal where all of you can participate live as we converse. You can just send in a participation request while the show is going on, and we would love to have your comments through Google Hangout or Skype. You can also send us your audio posts and your video posts and your posts about whatever topic that interests you. You can also tweet us at hashtag IndiaPostLive and at @IndiaPostLive. So the gentleman we are going to talk about now has been honored by the World Economic Forum as a global leader 2013. He heads the think tank of electronics giant Samsung as its vice president, and now he is all set to chuck up his job to join Narendra Modi. We are talking about Pranav Mistry, and how exactly will that combination of Pranav Mistry and Narendra Modi be? We are going to talk about that, and like I said, you're free to join us in the conversation. Right now with me in the studio, I have with me two guests. I have Atishay Abhi. He was an external affairs correspondent, and he is right now a communications professional. Atishay, thank you so much for joining us. I also have Vineet Goenka. Vineet Goenka is co-convener of BJP's IT cell. Thank you so much. These two gentlemen join me in the studio. I also have a host of online guests, but before that, let's quickly take a look at this quick audiovisual.
He is all of 33 years, but is already heading the think tank team of electronics giant Samsung as vice president. Pranav Mistry, the Indian-born whiz kid and computer scientist, may give up his dream job to work for Modi Sarkar. Yes, you heard that right. His move may be a surprise for many, but the techie has been a Modi fan, often praising the new PM on social media. UPA tried the same with Infosys chief Nandan Nilekani, heading the ambitious Aadhaar project. But Nilekani lost the 2014 elections on a Congress ticket. If the young Mistry does decide to join the Modi bandwagon, will it be a Pitroda-Rajiv Gandhi kind of combo? And will Mistry be able to deliver on Modi's grand digital dreams? Well, we for sure are all eyes for it.
All right, so all eyes on whether this combination will fulfill Narendra Modi's dream of, making the whole of India digital. Let me first get Vineet Goenka to talk to me about that. What kind of a combination are we looking at in case? Now, this is all very speculative. We really don't know. He has expressed interest, but we really don't know if Mr. Narendra Modi will actually invite him or not to join him. But if he does, what can we expect?
Who will join or not join is only known to Modi ji right now, not to me. And I don't have an access to his thinking right now.
Right.
So I would request and invite everybody who is Indian and who has something to contribute to this democracy to forward. And he's one among them. So if he comes, it's welcome. Let us see. Let Modi ji first decide what is the decision has to be heard.
Atishay, we are talking of a situation. We are talking, this gentleman, Pranav Mistry, he's been known for his sixth sense technology and, the mouseless mouse and all of that. But let's get real here on the ground. If we are very generous, we can say that the internet penetration in India is 11%. So, what kind of a grand thing can Pranav Mistry actually do in case he joins the government as an advisor?
See, I think more than his devices and whatever he has created so far, I think what he brings to the table is the philosophy behind it, which is, to actually connect the people who live in a physical world with the digital world, so that they don't need to buy iPads and phones and mobile phones, and they can just take a paper and just start projecting whatever they want on it. Basically saying that I will give you the cheapest tools to work on, but get connected. And I think that philosophy is more important than the tools that he has actually created so far.
Right.
But the fact that you mentioned 11%, the challenge for him will be that, okay, I produce something, I'm ready to give it to the people of the country, but do they have the wherewithal for it? People who do not have electricity also in the remotest parts. I mean, we're not talking about just the remotest parts. Even in the B towns right now, we're not very sure whether everybody has access to electricity. So I think there is a huge gap for him to bridge.
Right.
And I think when he comes in from, when he leaves Silicon Valley and comes here, I think the biggest thing will be for him to actually get grounded, and first assess, how much gap needs to be filled.
Great. Okay, so those were the first comments from both my guests in the studio, Vineet and Atishay. Let me now bring in our online guests and let's interact all together. Right now we have Puneet Jain. Puneet Jain is the founder of Mobigyan. Puneet Jain, welcome to the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi, Puneet. Puneet, let me get your first comments on this speculative story, I will call it that now, that Pranav Mistry is keen on chucking his job and in fact joining Narendra Modi at in an advisory role. He has in fact said that, he doesn't want to be an entrepreneur because that is very self-centric and he would rather work for the masses. Your first comments, Puneet.
Firstly, Pranav Mistry is a great man. I mean, he has achieved a lot in his life, and the best part now is that now he wants to serve the country. And I am following Narendra Modi since long, and the way I see it, he always try to tap good, talented people. And Pranav Mistry is obviously one of those. So I feel that if he's invited, I think he should be invited
you think
Narendra Modi to join his advisory group.
Okay,
Yeah.
you think he should be invited? You think he's the right man for the job after all that
Obviously.
he's done? All right. Okay, thank you for your first comments. Let me quickly get Ritesh Sharma. Ritesh Sharma is a tech blogger. Ritesh, hi. Hi. Ritesh, your first comments on what we are discussing in the conversation, Pranav Mistry's ambitions to now work in a larger role, to work with Narendra Modi and help him realize the digital dream.
Well, I would say it's, I would be looking forward to it on a personal level, and even if we think about what India has to achieve and what Modi has been, promising, it will be a huge step forward. Now, as for me, the only thing, one of the major things that we actually missed on, and why China is taking in, and what China is taking in right now is R&D, research and development. Now, this guy, Pranav Mistry, I've been following him ever since the Sixth Sense came into me, when he developed that. Now, this guy is a prolific man. He has been doing research at one of the biggest electronics companies. But there is a reason that we are actually looking forward to it.
All right. Okay, let me get Atishay back. You remember, the whole Sam Pitroda Rajiv Gandhi combination. Yeah, that combination was something that really worked for the country at so many levels. He headed, I think, as many as 6 commissions, relating to telecom, relating to literacy and, a huge gamut of issues. And that was a beautiful working relationship, right? Now, Narendra Modi is in 60s, he's 64, and this guy is a young lad of 33. So do you see any clash of ideology? Do you see any, do you see a real friendship happening there and, people really working together?
I think the fact that Pranav is somebody who has, taken into what he has believed in and ended up delivering on that, I think that that transfers very well to, whether it's Mr. Narendra Modi or whosoever he would end up working with. I think he is a very good translator or implementer of the vision that anybody would give him. He has his own vision, which he will combine it with his own skills and the vision of the leadership that he's serving.
Right.
And so I think it'll be easier for him to fit into anybody who is willing to go that extra mile to take technology to people for their own use.
All right. Let me now at this point bring in Rajneesh. Vineet, you've been sitting silent for a while. We'll talk to you too. But let me first get Rajneesh. He is the director of Microsoft Ventures. Welcome to the conversation. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay, we were just talking about how Narendra Modi himself is very technology savvy. He has been using social media. He has been using this whole 3D hologram during his election campaigns and to, get his message across, even when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. What kind of a working relationship do you see happening between Pranav Mistry and Narendra Modi, if they were to join forces?
Well, first of all, this is my personal comment and not that of Microsoft, so let me make that very
Surely,
clear.
surely.
Now, coming down to coming down to the question as to the combination, I think it's going to be a very deadly combination because one of them is very aspirational. One is aspirational from a technology front, one is aspirational from setting the country on the right track. Okay, and when these two aspirations meet, I think magic will happen. And to a larger point, technocrats like Pranav should join the government. In fact, all of us who are there in the system today, the ecosystem today, who knows something who has got the power to kind of alleviate some of the problems that the ecosystem is facing. And when I say ecosystem, I mean the country as such is facing. Whether you take any vertical, the transportation, retail, the infrastructure, power, whatever you take, there's a problem everywhere. And I strongly believe that IT can actually solve most of the problems that we are facing today, or at least streamline the problems to such an extent that people can come out with imaginative solutions on their own. That you can actually start involving local people or localized people using solutions. And that's what Narendra Modi did in this campaign as well. He involved everybody in the campaign, right? He involved the entire masses. And that's where you saw the huge percentage in the voting percentage. Close to about 8 to 9% was the increase from the previous election years. How did all this happen? Because of the entire jingoism that he has bought using this social media election and the ITs and
But
stuff
don't you
like
think
that.
it's very,
So to me,
don't you think it's very targeted to the youth only and the urban youth especially?
not well. You could say that simply because of the fact that the people in the rural India got left out because of the lot of infrastructure problems that they faced,
Yes.
whereby they couldn't actually even log on to the internet. For example, because they don't have laptops or they don't have the machines, they don't have power and all this stuff. So your criticism to that extent is valid. That to a certain large extent there has been a concentration on the urban youth.
Yes.
But that said, over a period of time, people will start realizing when they see technology and the magic of technology happening and changing the lives of the people. I'm telling you that most people in tier 2 and tier 3 cities will want to participate in that.
Right.
And when they express a desire to participate in that, you will find governments, you will find state governments coming out with policies, procedures, infrastructure to solve and to help them. And that is what you see in states like Tamil Nadu, for example.
Right.
I mean, how power was a problem 5 years back, 4 years back, and how she has been going ahead and done a stupendous amount of poverty agreement, and whereby she's trying to reduce the power deficit in the next 6 months or so. So the demand for such high quality, even from tier 2 tier 3 cities, thanks to the all pervasive use of IT, will ensure that governments will work and everybody will participate in it. So I'm a firm believer in that.
Great. All right, Rajnish, thank you so much for your thoughts. Vineet, you are the IT guy of BJP. Now, whatever Rajnish has said, what are your comments?
See, I'll tell you. One is that I'm very happy to hear this all, what is going on. Why I'm happy? Because in the last 10 years, nobody talked about pitching themselves for the Prime Minister. Today, this is a big turnaround where good people are coming out and saying, I would like to join the PMO. Now, this is one good start. So, it's a welcome start. Now, whether this gentleman will get a chance or not, or birth or not, it is prerogative of the Prime Minister of the country. Modi ji will decide. Now, I have two things which I would like to add here. We have seen the Sam Petroda and Rajiv Gandhi because they knew each other for a couple of years before elections.
Yes.
So that also matters a lot.
They were friends. That's the
Two,
point I raised.
and
yes.
when Sam came in, he has not done great. So let me just break this myth of Sam Petroda has done something which is really good.
No,
It's
but
been
the telecom.
what happened?
Okay.
Then I'll tell you, it is years. So for example, when I was 6 years old, my height was 2 feet 6 inches, and when I am 30 years old, and my height is 5 feet. This is natural organic process. The country was going through an organic process.
You won't give any credit to Mr.
And
Rajiv Gandhi.
I'm giving credit to both of them. Probably I will also say that my bread and butter came because of that, because
Yes, yes.
he introduced IT and I joined an IT company. So let me give that honors to him. But that combination which we talk about is a deadly combination.
Yeah.
It happened because A, they were together for many years before they actually became Prime Minister and the advisor. B, the country did not have all these kind of things. C, whatever was introduced was good. Today there are a couple of different environments. A, the Prime Minister himself knows this country very well. Okay, he knows what is the agenda. The manifesto has talked about what is his agenda. B, there are people already there around him, with him, in this system.
So
who
he
will
would
deliver.
also know that, as Atishay said, it's a
Yeah.
very big and a
Yeah.
tough bridge to gap.
Yeah, and
The
third,
digital divide.
we have to first meet with basic things like today things have gone wrong on the governance side. So we also have to put the governance in place, and then we'll use technology to take the governance to the last man. There are priorities been already been set. Now to take up somebody inside the system and change the priority, I don't know how much feasible it will be and how much it is. But I would request many others who are there in the system, like Mr. Mistry, to come forward, because Mr. Mistry may be one of the sons of this great motherland who would like to participate. There may be other people also, scientists also, who may come out and contribute. And I think Bharatiya Janata Party and Karyakartas of Bharatiya Janata Party look forward for these kind of people who will come and help us. So there are two things which I am trying to tell essentially. A, Prime Minister of India today is well equipped with all his advisors.
Yeah, I mean,
So
to
contemplate that whether somebody will join. Two, anybody and everybody who can change even a small fraction of living, standard of living in this country is welcome to come and contribute.
Right.
So,
no, Pranav Mistry has been, in fact, he has been, mobilizing opinion even among the global community in favor of Mr. Narendra Modi. And, he talked about change and he said good things will happen. He tweeted about it and all of that. Now, the whole thing is, a day-to-day functioning can be quite frustrating for somebody who's been in a different... In fact, Vineet, I want to talk to you about that. You yourself have moved from corporate to politics. We'll talk to you about that. Atisha, you had something to say when Vineet...
Actually, just taking on from the governance part, I was just looking at some of the e-governance projects that are already in place. And if you look at all the analysis that is done, assessment that is done, a lot of them are yet to take off, or even kind of, the fueling has still kind of need to be done. So I think whosoever comes in as a technical advisor,
right,
I would hope that first of all they look at the existing projects and see whether this covers the gamut of what we need to do right now. Even if they are able to implement them for the next 5 years, I think it'll be a huge way forward. As far as whether Mistry comes in or whosoever comes in, what I think they can end up doing is to make it easier for people to access that kind of technology. If he can play a role in that, I think that will be good enough.
Great. Okay, let me now bring in a self-confessed social media freak, and she is Manasvi Sharma. Manasvi, welcome to the conversation. You're rolling your eyes. I thought you're a social media freak, aren't you? Can you hear me? Manasvi, I'm not able to hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you too now. Okay, Manasvi, I think you have been, listening to the conversation, for a few minutes now. As somebody who is into social media, and as you know that our Prime Minister is also into social media, how much does the idea of Samsung's think tank, somebody who's invented the Sixth Sense technology, how much does it excite you, him joining the government?
It is definitely exciting. You can't say no to that, of course. But I am a little skeptical of the fact that how it will be in the coming future. We've heard a lot about how Modi is going to bring the change, and it is towards a towards a better future, yes. But at the moment, it's more about cleaning up the mess, if you may say. Or what was left behind, or something like you have to carry this forward. Like you just said, it's about the accessibility bit. It's about how you make all of this available to the common crowd.
Yes.
If you say that a social media, that a technology base is coming into the government, and he'll bring a change suddenly. But my fact is that it'll be gradual, it'll be slow, and for him, it'll be especially important to see how he can, maybe get used to the surrounding, because at the end of the day, the government functions at its own pace. It's not the private world where you can just come and, just with your wand and just create magic. You have to be very careful. You have to be very steady.
Right.
So I think
it'll be... Puneet Jain, Manasvi just talked about, the fact that there is so much work to be done and, so many steps to be taken. Do you think probably Narendra Modi is also waiting for some time before a lot of things are sorted out, before he actually invites Pranav Mistry? Do you think we should give that kind of a time to him to sort out a lot of...
I won't be able to say what Narendra Modi is thinking right now.
Of course, we are speculating, yeah.
Yes, but then about the time frame, I personally am a fan of Pranav Mistry, so I don't think if there is at all any delay to
Okay.
have him in the advisory board because as
You
I
want him
said,
to join
in my-
immediately and bring 6 technology to every household, is it? Immediately. Do you think that's even
No,
possible?
it won't happen that quickly, but
Yeah.
yes, he can surely turn around the things when it comes to the technology sector in India.
All right. Okay. Let me bring in Ritesh now. Ritesh, your comments on whatever we've been hearing so far. Of course, the digital divide that Atishay spoke about. And B, this combination of, somebody who is very savvy when it comes to, as Vineet said, knowing the country and yet being, very technologically savvy himself. Narendra Modi.
See, as I said earlier, I would actually I would say support this move if Narendra Modi does actually send out an invite to him, and if he joins. Now, yeah, what the other guests have been, you need to establish an infrastructure first. You need to
Yeah.
take care of the core things first. That is the reason. Now, this guy is as innovative as it gets. As I he has been the vice president of research in Samsung, one of the biggest electronics company for a reason. The guy is innovative. He can think differently. I guess that's what we need right now. Right? Slowly but steadily, we would be able to. I guess the divide that we're talking about right now, internet penetration, and all that, everyone being connected. This can happen only we have to look it out. It's work.
Right.
Let him come in. Let the innovative guy come in.
Okay. Rajneesh, can I bring you in now? Rajneesh, we had a Nandan Nilekani who was working for the UPA and we saw how that worked out in terms of Aadhaar and, also even in these elections. Your comments, I mean, do you see, is there any chance that this entire project might backfire?
Well, I don't know about that, but I can tell you on the overall front, when technocrats, when the senior level technocrats and people who have a great goodwill in the country join the government,
Yes.
there's a very good positive rub-off that happens across.
Right.
Okay? And that rubbing off is very important because in any country, when you have to create quote unquote the magic, you need to have people buying into your ideas. Now, for people to buy into your ideas, you will get that buy-in only when people see that there are some very credible people standing on the podium. Okay? Now, in this case, when you have very credible people who have done some very credible stuff in their sphere of life, whether it is in doctorate or whether it is physics or whether it is chemistry, whether it is in IT, whatever field you take on, when you find such top people standing on the podium, there's automatically a positive perception about the people in power.
Yes.
When there's a positive perception about the people in power, automatically the investment climate, the working climate, the employability climate, the whole aspects of living goes through a massive change, a positive change, which is very important because once that positiveness is inculcated and if it's a kind of imbibed over a period of 6 to 8 months and 1 year, you will see the rubbing of effects happening in post 1 year. And that's when the real magic would start from 2 to 3 years onwards. So the people who we talked about, I don't want to get into the name thing because I can't,
Okay.
but some of the stalwarts that you spoke about, if such kind of people join any government, I think there is going to be a huge positive impact to the entire country, both in the eyes of the local people and also in the international community, and which is going to be beneficial for everyone.
Right, Rashni. That's a very, very, nice insight. Yeah, Atishay?
Just one, I'll be quite interested to see in what capacity he comes as an advisor, because are you going to advise the Prime Minister's office on how to reach out to the people, or are you going to advise on new schemes again to reach out?
Yeah.
So in what capacity does he come in? Like I think one of the guests also said that okay, he is an innovator and he can imagine and
Think out of the box.
Think out of the box.
Yeah.
I would really like to see him say that okay, in a part where they really need governance, I will try and create something which actually does not require electricity, because I know there isn't. So I think that the challenge is that deep.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's the level of imagination that he needs to probably have when he comes into this job.
Yeah, wonderful. So that's a very challenging thing for him, and I suppose, Vineet, what would you say?
See, one thing which I will like to say is that assuming that somebody will come out from outside and tell us what is the path to walk, is a wrong statement.
Suggest,
Yeah.
perhaps?
Yeah.
Not tell?
No,
But
so-
how
so-
is he an outsider?
No, I'll explain that. I'll explain that. See, thinking that somebody who would come out of the government of India itself has fantastic scientists. They have very good people. It was the failure of the leadership. So, like one of the guests said, Nandan Linikali came in.
Yeah.
He failed not because he was a bad guy or he was a wrong
No, no.
guy. He failed because the environment was not good, the leadership was not there. And Sam Petroda did not succeed because he was a fantastic guy, his technology was right. It was because the leadership was able to penetrate that thoughts down there. Narendra Modi is a firm man. He has mandate behind him and he knows what to do. So, whether Mr. Mistry is taken or not, things will happen good. So, it is not easy. And
Right.
two, you wanted to ask me one question which I think should not be lost. I'm trying to say. It's a corporate world.
Yes,
when you work,
yes.
Yeah, so when
You
I was
yourself were working in IBM and you
yeah, so
came out.
when you work there, there are the processes are already in the place, and then what you do is you actually take benefit of the process and you ride through it. So the people, process, and technology, which are the three essential elements of success in the corporate, come in this order: people, process, and then technology. So what happens is you have fantastic people around you. You have a choice to select people. You have choice to remove them from the team if they are not performing.
Qualified
Yeah.
people.
So
right.
you have, the right to hire, right to fire. Fire does not mean that you may not throw him out of the company, but you can always take him out of the team and say that you work there. So you have that choice. A. B. The mandate for everybody and everybody's pull is together. Whereas the moment you come into a democratic process, this elected government, it is not so.
Yes.
You have to take people along. The priorities may be different. See, we may not think about 6 cent technology right now. The priority may be that we want to take infrastructure down to the last man. We still have to reach to the last man. In the case of the internet, we are 124th in the world. So,
Yes. I
two,
know
the second
that's
issue is that what is the level of internet which we have? Even if we have broadband here in this studio itself, you see, the fluctuations are so high that we can't call it a steady thing. So that has to be addressed. And the third is the cost of access to.
Yeah,
Now, this is a small thing in the entire IT world.
Right.
So
right.
we have to
Wonderfully
talk.
put, yeah.
So what we have to do is get A. B. The entire IT world where we are talking about being a superpower is basically a wrong notion. We are probably the import bill of electronics is third to petrol and I think petroleum products, and then after that, so the
We need
electronic
to
goods.
develop that.
Yeah. So we will have to break that cycle. We have to have indigenous production in house. So somebody can just come out and say, okay, I want to join. Good, he is welcome. But don't get so much carried away. And if he does not come, then don't have think people to be done.
No,
with
no,
it.
of course,
So
yeah.
so I would like to candidly say here that he has opted. He has put his thoughts in that he wants to join.
He has offered his services, so to
services.
speak. Yeah.
Now, whether they are really needed or not has to be thought by the elected representatives there
Great,
and also by the leader.
Great.
And the leader knows what it has
All
to be
right.
done. Yeah.
All right. All right. So we have a very positive mood,
Can
I think, in this entire conversation.
Add to the gentleman who said that it was a fantastic combination of Nandan Nilinkani and
I think Rajneesh,
Rajneesh
did. Yeah.
said-
Yeah. Very quickly,
yeah.
we have to wrap up. Yeah.
Nandan failed miserably. Not one is because the leadership was not good there, and two, he was also not clear what to do.
All right.
So-
So,
so let us
there,
not-
there were limitations you're trying to say. All right. All right. So very positive vibes there regarding this entire, Pranav Mistry offering his services. And of course, there are challenges ahead, and the way to move forward is something which only Mr. Narendra Modi will know, I suppose. He keeps a lot of things close to his chest, Vineet, as you yourself have said. All right. I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining this conversation. I think it was a very good discussion. A lot of voices were heard. And I would request Vineet to please take it forward, this particular conversation. And then we will wait and watch what happens in that particular sector. Rajneesh ji, thank you so much for joining the conversation. I would also like to thank Ritesh Sharma, tech blogger. Thank you so much. Puneet Jain, founder of Movigyan. Manasvi, thank you so much for joining. And Rajneesh ji, of course, thank you so much. I would also like to thank my studio guests for joining the conversation. The conversation continues on the portal through your audio and video comments, your tweets and your posts. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.